Hello everyone, my name is Rahmat Ade Mulya Nasution, and in this video, I'm going to give a presentation about one of the integral part of performing a speech. That is, without this element, your speech performance will be pointless. Can you guys guess it? Yeah, that is audience. On a road to become a good public speaker, it is not only about a well-written speech arrangement nor the sophisticated visual aids or PowerPoint. There is also another factor that is essential for public speaker, yes, and that is the audience. And in this video, I will show you why the audience is important and why analyzing them is imperative. But before we look on the process or steps to analyzing the audience, we may have to see the role of the audience first. The audience here have three different roles. They can be a listener, an observer, also an assessor. And then, now we are entering the main topic of discussion of this video. And now we are going to how to analyze the audience. There are three steps to analyze the audience. Steps number one, be a good listener. Your listening skill is really needed here. It is because from a good listening, you will get a better understanding about something that you are listening to. To become a good listener, you have to identify your listening goal first. Either you are listening for purpose or listening to evaluate or listening for information. Besides, identify your listening goal. You may also have to know your listening style, whether you are a relational oriented listener or are you a analytical oriented listener or task oriented listener or a critical oriented listener. After you have identified your listening goal and you have knew your listening style, now you are ready to entering the listening process. And to make this process more easier, there are several things to do to become an effective listener. Such as when you are listening, you have to avoid an overload information, and then you have to stop focusing only on yourself. You have to listen more, and then you have to avoid outside distraction. Also, you have to leave all the prejudice, and then you also have to manage the time to think or to talk. And then there are also steps you can do to become more a better listener. First, you have to train your eyes and ears, and then you have to focus on the listening process, and then you have to manage your emotional reaction to the message, and then you have to listen for a major ideas, and then you have to identify your objective, and then practice it until you become an active listener. Okay, now we are entering steps number 2, which is the main part of analyzing the audience. This is also important because building an intimate relation with the audience will help you to adjust your performance. And here I show you steps to analyze your audience. First, you can ask their name, occupancy, age, and so on. And then you can also observe the audience from similarities, differences, or common ground. And then you can also use a demographic that contain information about gender, ethnicity, culture, and social status. And then you can also explore the audience reaction toward the topic and the speaker also. And then you can also analyze the spatial elements. And then you can look at the response of the audience. And then there are two psychological elements of the audience you can analyze too. The first one is the topic. You can analyze how the audience react to the topic. They are interested or uninterested, or they are favorable or unfavorable, or they are captivate or voluntary. And then the second one is yourself. or the speaker. Mainly they will see your credibility here as a speaker. You could also analyze the audience after your speech performance. You can read their non-verbal responses or their verbal responses after your speech. And the last step is be a quick-witted speaker. Be adaptive to your audience as you're delivering your speech is the next process. To do so, you have to observe the audience as you're speaking and look how they react to you. When you find out the audience seems bored or confused or do not understand to the topic you are talking about, change what you are doing, and then you can also do a group call to build an intimate relation with the audience, and then you can also adapting your speech to the audience point of view. Also, here I'll show you how to read audience nonverbal cues and how to respond them in several circumstances. You can read the audience nonverbal from their eye contact, movement, facial expression, nonverbal responsiveness, and also verbal responsiveness. And then, if your audience seems bored or inattentive, you can start to tell a story or give an example that is related to the audience. And then you can also remind an interesting key points of your speech, and then you can also invite the audience to take a part on your speech performance, and then you can also ask about their opinion about the topic. And if your audience seems bored and no, I mean, if your audience seems confused or doesn't understand your point, you can be more redundant or repeating your key points, and then you can use visual aid, and then you can also slowing your speaking rate, and then you can also ask the feedbacks for the audience that which part they get confused at. As I mentioned before, analyzing the audience is really important for your speech delivering. Hence, by doing so, you have tried to maximize your level as a good public speaker. I think that's all from me. Thank you.